Hey everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new to this channel, my name is Adrian Field and I'm an expat entrepreneur currently living in Lisbon. So if you're not new to this channel, let me announce something that for me is exciting and I hope you will also enjoy this news. And that is the fact that I'm kind of taking this channel in a new direction. A lot of you maybe know me from having lived in Bali for the last 4 years. I did a lot of videos about living in Bali, about my villa. Some of you maybe know me from Australia. I made one vlog for some reason that was really popular about my travels in Australia. But in any case, for those of you who have been following along, this is something where I want to bring you along to this new chapter of my life. So I've said before on this channel that my main motivation in moving to Europe from Bali was because I didn't want to die alone in Bali. I mean, that's the kind of like flippant way of saying it, but the reality is that I really came here to give myself the opportunity to actually date and to meet people and to really have like a real life. And so what I want to now start doing on this channel is giving a more intimate look into what my life is like here in Europe and also developing some of my new life skills alongside that. So for example, I've said before that I never used to cook. Like my whole life, I've never cooked. I never really learned how to cook. And this is now something that I am, I guess, getting into, kind of a little bit forced getting into it because ordering out for every meal or going out for every meal is very expensive here in Europe, even in Lisbon, where again, like Portugal is supposed to be cheaper than the rest of Western Europe, but I find that obviously compared to Asia, things are much more expensive. And really like my motivation as well is that I want to be a good boyfriend or partner, future husband, whatever. Like I want to be able to cook something in the house as well. I just think that it's a nice thing to offer in the context of a relationship and kind of being more of an adult, let's say. I mean, now that I'm in my 30s, I really feel like these are skills that high time should be developing. So, with that said, today we are going to be making a lentil tuna salad. And I think that this is something great because I can prepare it and then put it in these like plastic containers and probably eat it for lunch for a couple days. And what's going on in my life right now is that I am very motivated to get bigger. I'm going to the gym every other day. I'm lifting weights. And so this lentil salad is something that has a lot of protein. It's healthy and it shouldn't be too complicated to make. Now, I've never made lentils before, but it seems pretty easy. So without further ado, let's get into it. The ingredients I already have out. I have lentils, a red pepper. This is, I'm forgetting the name now in English because in Portuguese it's salsa, but I'll get back to you about what the name in English is. Cherry tomatoes, we have olive oil, we have sherry vinegar, and of course we have the tuna that comes here in cans. Portugal is very famous for canned fish. So I'm going to be following a recipe that I found online on the BBC Good Food. So the only somewhat challenging thing here is that I'm supposed to roast this pepper. However, I've never roasted a pepper before, and when I Googled how to roast a pepper, it showed that you're supposed to do it on an open flame, but I have an induction stovetop, and therefore I'm going to try to do it in my oven. Now, I have literally, in my entire time of being here, I have not used my oven. So this is also going to be a new experience today. So anyway, with our red tomato, let's first wash this. I realized that I just said red tomato and not red pepper. Sorry guys, I think that my brain is a little bit messed up at the moment. I did go out last night until around 2:30. It was kind of a long day because I met a friend for brunch and then we went to a beach party. And then it got really cold. This beach party was in Caparica, which is on the other side of Lisbon, across the bridge. And we ended up probably leaving there around midnight or so and to come back into Lisbon. And then we went to a bar and we're drinking for a while and then finally ended the night at some kind of like place called Lounge. It's sort of like a club, but I didn't stay very long because at this point I was just over it and bored. And it's not usually that much fun just hanging around a bunch of straight people for me anyway, which is what my group was last night, but a very fun group anyway. This party at the beach was a lot of French people. That's always my vibe. We were kind of with a mixed French group. One guy in particular was extremely handsome, unfortunately straight, but I was telling my friends that if I could literally design physically the perfect man for me, it would be this guy. He was just so beautiful. All right, so as I said, I'm gonna try to roast this red pepper in the oven. I only have one because I think that this particular recipe, it called for 2, but the portions would be like to make for 4 portions, and I don't need 4 portions just for myself. So I did buy aluminum foil today. I don't have like a baking pan or anything to necessarily put this on, so I'm just gonna stick it right in the oven at 400 degrees and let it go for, I think it said 15 minutes. So this is something that most likely I need to do and get started with now, because the other thing will be the lentils to cook them, and I don't know how long that exactly will take. So it says for the red pepper, lay the peppers on a foil-lined baking sheet, cut side down. Okay, so this is the cut side down. And, oh no. Here's another challenge, is that this recipe, or rather telling me how to bake these, roast these red peppers 400 degrees Fahrenheit, but my oven is in Celsius. And I also, as I said, have never used this oven before, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. 15 to 20 minutes. Now let's figure out, because it doesn't give us the instructions on how to cook lentils. So apparently it's easy, you just add water, and it doesn't matter how much water to lentil ratio, but I just want to make sure that it's as simple as that. Okay, you need to rinse the lentils first and then simmer. Okay, so we want 250 grams of lentils, because I'm going to be halving everything in this recipe. So I've been hooking up with some people over the last week, but nothing that closely even somewhat resembled like a date or a potential to be like more than a hookup. This doesn't seem like enough of the lentils. I'm gonna add more. I think that to make 2 portions for what I want to do, I'm gonna actually go with what they said, which was 500 originally. So I'm still dealing a little bit with the fallout of, as I mentioned, I had met this guy that I kind of developed some feelings for, but that he was in an open relationship and things got very weird and complicated, and I realized that I was not emotionally equipped to be at all in this kind of situation. I'm just far too jealous, and I really want someone for myself. I don't want to share someone with several other people, which was the case, you know, of this particular person and his situation and the situation of his very complex polyamorous relationship. And one of the frustrating things that I'm finding in Lisbon, at least, is that it seems like everybody is in an open relationship. Like everybody that I'm attracted to, that I come across, is in an open relationship, meaning that they already have a partner, a boyfriend, or whatever the case may be, and then they sleep with other people on the side. But I don't want to be someone's second choice, or, I mean, in the case of this guy, like third, fourth, fifth choice, whatever. You know, I don't want to be that. I really want like a boyfriend, a partner for myself. So I find this to be rather frustrating, and unfortunately, or I don't know if it's unfortunately or not, but this does tend to be very prevalent in gay dating, or rather gay relationships. There's just a lot of flexibility, let's call it that, in the way that people have relationships. Like generally, I don't want to speak generally, but in my observation is that couples, gay couples that have been together for many years end up in some form of an open relationship. And, you know, I'm not saying that if I, if I were in a relationship maybe that, was a very long-term relationship, maybe I would want an open relationship, but I don't think so, because it's not really my personality. I'm not that sexually motivated. I'm much more motivated by intimacy and, like building a real relationship. So, to be honest, it's very confusing and quite frustrating that you meet someone that you like. This happened to me also the last weekend, where I was out at a party and I met a guy that I liked, and surprise, he's in an open relationship. And you know, that's fun for him, but that's not so great for me. Okay, let's get back to our recipe. We're supposed to whisk the vinegar, mustard, and garlic together in a small bowl. Now, I can't digest garlic, so I am not going to be using garlic in this recipe. I'm thinking at the end I may add some balsamic vinegar more to taste. But okay, we needed 2 tablespoons of sherry vinegar. We need 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Oof, the sherry vinegar is extremely pungent. Okay, 1 teaspoon of the mustard. Garlic, slowly drizzle the oil, whisking as you go. I don't understand why you have to whisk as you go. Why can't you just pour the oil in and then whisk it all together as you do it? I don't think it really matters, does it? Whisk as you go until emulsified. What does emulsified even mean? I don't know in this case what emulsified means. 2 tablespoons sherry vinegar, 1 teaspoon Dijon mustard, the garlic cloves, olive oil. I suppose that we could add some salt or pepper maybe if we wanted to this particular seasoning, because after this we need to add the tomato. Okay, we also need to cut up the cherry tomato. I guess we can do that next. And I guess, oh, this is starting to get emulsified. I think I'm learning what emulsified means because it's become, oh, whoops, my lentils are supposed to be simmering and not boiling. Okay, so yeah, I'm rather frustrated with the current dating scene, but I'm also trying to be a lot more, how to say, proactive, or I don't want to use the word aggressive than I used to be, because I used to be quite passive, just kind of waiting for people to talk to me, whether that was from an app or whatever the case may be. But now I just kind of want to put myself out there as much as possible, and I think that I have a lot less fear or complex about, you know, someone just turning me down. Though this is something strange that's happened over the last week as well, that there's been a few instances where I'm talking to guys, like making a plan, and we seem very mutually into each other. At least I'm definitely interested, and they're interested as well. They say so, and then they just kind of like disappear, and we haven't even had the chance to meet. So it's not as if they're rejecting me based on any, you know, in-person encounter. It just is like, I don't know. I think that guys here in Europe, and maybe guys in general, I don't know, but definitely they have a lot more opportunity here. And what can maybe be happening is that they're talking to so many people at the same time, and you know, maybe they're interested in you a little bit, but then they're talking to someone that they're even more interested in, and so you just kind of like fall then off, you fall by the wayside, so to speak. And that's happened to me several times, a few times this week actually, and it's always very perplexing where that person said that they want to like meet for a hookup or something, and then they just disappear and they stop responding. Very weird. But I guess kind of all of this is seeming to be on par for the course of, you know, dating in Europe. It's definitely complicated. I kind of had this idea that moving from Bali, you know, it would just like be so much easier, because when I would come to Europe, I felt like I was meeting people pretty easily, and like guys with potential. Again, I'd been spending most of my time in Spain, so I'm specifically, I guess, talking about the dating in Madrid and Barcelona. But here, you know, as I said, I am occasionally meeting people that I'm interested in, but they tend to already be in relationships. And, you know, Lisbon by population is much smaller than Madrid and Barcelona. And there's a smaller dating pool, you know, especially for gay men. It's not like a super gay city. There is obviously gay things to do here, and there's a gay scene.
Okay, I found this on the web for there is obviously gay things to do herein. Check it out.
Okay, Siri, I didn't ask you that. I'm telling people about the gay scene in Lisbon. Anyway, you know, there are gay bars. There's a gay club right next to my house called Trump's. There's the bathhouse. So like, again, there are plenty of gay things, but just by population it's smaller. And so I'm finding it just a little bit challenging to actually meet someone that I want to date. Like, it's not been since the winter time where I met someone that was ostensibly single and that I really wanted something with, and it seemed like it was a possibility, which is why I got so wrapped up in it. But really, since then, it's been slow, and I've been here for 3 months, and my friends, especially my straight friends, are telling me, like, you've only been here 3 months, you know? You have to give it time. But in gay dating and in the gay world, like, things move so quickly, you know? Like, you can meet someone just from one day to the next, and if you like each other, then you just kind of start hanging out and things can develop kind of quickly. Like, there's no artificial timeline of how long it takes for things to go. So I don't know. But, you know, on the other hand, in terms of things that are not just related to dating, I am, you know, making a social life here really nicely. The people that I went out with last night was my Colombian friend who I had met from my French friend when we went down to Algesur to the surf camp for a while. And so then, you know, she had a bunch of her work colleagues there, and it's really nice. Like, I find that I'm meeting people in a platonic friendship way really, really easily here. I have a friend that I met because she's the events coordinator at the members club that I'm a part of called Nino, and she had a birthday party this week, and there were so many cool people at her birthday party that I, you know, talked to and exchanged numbers with. So I really do feel like, for me, you know, the scene in Lisbon is really great for making friends. There's such a vibrant and interesting expat community. But, you know, dating, as I said, is just a different challenge. But going back again just to the social things to try to stay on topic, I think I had mentioned in a previous video that I had joined this club. Well, there were two clubs I was talking about. One I had joined called the 1000 Club, and its mission was to bring together expats and Portuguese people. And I went to a few of their events, but I ended up quitting that club because I felt like the people were just like trying a little bit too hard, you know? It wasn't super organic and natural. And in contrast, the club that I ended up joining afterwards is called Nino, and it's a members only club that has this gorgeous old palace, and it has a pool, and it's just a really nice place to hang out on a summer day. And so from going to events there and from hanging out by the pool, I've met some nice people, and again, just in a really far more organic and natural way than, you know, going to like a dinner where there's a pre-prescribed topic of conversation. And again, like, it's a lot of people I felt who had just arrived in Lisbon, and so they didn't know a lot of people, and that was their motivation for joining this group. And obviously I was like that as well. I'm also new in Lisbon and I don't know a ton of people, but I do find that through my regular life I come into contact with more people than maybe some of the people from that group, because they were maybe like older, you know, of a different generation. And but me, because I'm younger and I'm out and I'm dating and things like that, I just don't feel the same necessity to be like in a very specific networking kind of situation. Okay, timer has just gone off about our red pepper. I'm gonna check on that and see how it's doing. It doesn't seem like it's ready yet. We can give it another 5 minutes. Let me give this another 5 minutes for the red pepper. Meanwhile, I have no idea really about the lentils, if they're ready or not. I should actually probably look at the website that I was just reading before, only half reading, about how long these typically take to cook. Maybe I even want to put the top on this to really like let them properly marinate in their steam. Okay, so let's see. Let's get back to our recipe. How are we doing here? I've cut up the tomato. I've cut up the parsley. That was the word I was looking for in English. That is salsa in Portuguese. But I guess here in Portugal they would say something like salsa, because all of their S's are like sh. But as I've said before, I'm specifically learning Brazilian Portuguese because to me it sounds much more beautiful to the ear, and I tend to be hanging out with a lot more Brazilian people generally than Portuguese people here. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. So the salsa slash parsley. Okay, we've chopped it. Is this finely chopped? All right, okay, now it's probably finely chopped. Okay, add the lentils, tuna, tomato, pepper, herbs to a large bowl. Okay, we can get out our large bowl and start to combine some of these ingredients while we're waiting. All right, so I think I had mentioned earlier, I definitely mentioned that Portugal is famous for canned fish, specifically things like sardines. There are many different shops here that you'll see in Lisbon that are very cool and vintage looking, selling canned fish. I guess kind of for souvenirs as well that you can bring back to your friends and family. It's kind of a weird thing to bring back, but some of the packaging on them is really beautiful and very artistic and vintage looking, as I said. All right, this is great. Again, so I had alluded in the earlier part of this video that I'm really focused on my body at the moment. I do have body dysmorphia, and I'm kind of blaming the fact that I'm single a lot of the time on the way that I look. You know, feeling that, you know, if I were bigger, stronger, more handsome, whatever, that I wouldn't be single. And this is probably a very, I mean, I know it's a very unhealthy way of thinking, and it's probably not necessarily the reality, at least not like fully the reality, because I do hook up with a lot of people, and people tell me during these hookups that they find me attractive. But yet, I always ask myself, but if that's the case, then why am I single? Like, it must be then my terrible personality that's scaring them away. And I think it's easier somehow just to work on the exterior than maybe work on the interior. But again, I don't know. I don't know why I'm single. I don't know, you know, if it's just an issue of that I've been living in the wrong place for so many years, and that therefore now finally being in Europe, I have the opportunity to date people, but I don't understand. I really, really don't know what's going on. But I got off a little bit off topic. I was just trying to say that I've been going a lot to the gym every other day to try to get bigger, which is very challenging for me. My body, no matter what I do, really does not want to go above 60 kilograms. And that tends to be like my upper limit. And the thing is, I'm not someone who I don't have a big appetite, and I often find eating to be kind of like a chore. But that's why this kind of a recipe is great, because it's I think it's kind of healthy, and it's something that I can make right now. It doesn't take too much time, and can, you know, store in my refrigerator and just eat again tomorrow. It does have a lot of protein between the lentils and the tuna, and I think it's going to taste good. How are we doing now on our time? Okay, we have just 20 seconds left. Then I think we can take out these red peppers, try to peel off the skin, and then cut them up. And even if they're not ready, you know what? I don't care, because I don't even like roasted red peppers. I probably could have preferred them just raw anyway. But all right, so this is done. Let's turn off the oven. Oh, they're looking, actually, yes, they look perfect, guys. Though I did realize today that I don't have an oven mitt, and so now I'm kind of confused about how to take these out without burning myself. Wow, okay. Wow, I cannot believe that I did this. Whoa. Whoa, no, my stovetop is beeping at me. It's not happy that I put aluminum foil here. Okay, can you see this? I just want to show it because this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I'm proud of the fact that it seems to have come out correctly. So these are my roasted red peppers. How are my lentils coming? These seem like they're almost ready to go. So I can even probably, oh, how did that get on 8? That shouldn't be on 8. Okay, let me go back to figuring out how to now prepare these red peppers. Okay, they're slightly brown or blackened. Once the skins are blackened, remove the peppers from the oven. At this point, most people recommend placing the roasted peppers in a paper bag to steam for about 10 minutes to help loosen the skin. I've never found that to be necessary, but I guess it depends how stubborn your particular peppers are. Simply let the peppers cool off for a few minutes until they're comfortable enough to handle, and then peel the skins off and discard them. They'll slip off easily. Okay, so we need to wait a few minutes. Meanwhile, I think that the lentils might be ready. So I'm going to just try to pick one out and taste if it's... I don't really know what a lentil is supposed to kind of taste like without any seasoning. I've never eaten just a random piece of lentil. But it seems like it's ready. Add the lentils, tomato, tuna, peppers into a large bowl and toss together. By the way, so we can probably break up the tuna as well because it came in chunks from the can. And you know, in a tuna salad, we don't want big chunks. We want nice, small, mouthy chunks, mouthy pieces. I don't know what I'm saying, guys. I'm not a cook, but I am learning. And you know, if this comes out well, this is something that I can probably make at least once a week because I do like tuna. I've had tuna in the house because I've been making mostly tuna salad sandwiches from it, like tuna with mustard and mayonnaise on bread with Gouda cheese. Again, something that is quite high in protein and calories because I walk a ton here in Lisbon. It's my main mode of transportation. And being that Lisbon is so full of hills, I am constantly probably burning a lot of calories in cardio that I cannot afford to be burning. In the sense that, again, I don't want to lose weight, I'm trying to gain weight. All right, here we are with our lentils. So I'm gonna let the lentils cool for a little bit. Meanwhile, let me see how is my roasted red pepper, if I can peel the skin off. I think I should have let the red pepper maybe go for a little bit longer because the skin is not just peeling off that easily. In some areas it just came off, but oh, okay, this side is coming off nicely. Wow, I've done something right. I cannot believe this. So another thing that's going on, guys, in my personal private life is that next week I am going to Peniche with a group of friends because the Pope is coming to town. And there's going to be a huge influx of Pope tourists, Catholic tourists, I guess, coming into Lisbon that are, I suppose, going to make the city quite difficult to move around in and this and that. And so a friend of mine invited me along to this rental house in Peniche, which is somewhere north of Lisbon, about an hour on the beach. I've never been up to that area before, and you know, I like this group of friends. They're some of my French groups, again, the people that I had met in this surf trip down in Algesur. And so it should be really fun. And again, this is what I'm so happy about living here in Lisbon is the fact that, look, I've only been here 3 months, like since I've come back with the visa, and I really have made so many new friends to the point that I can go away with people for, you know, 6 days and rent a house together. And I know that that's going to be like a really fun, you know, bonding experience as well when you share a house with people. And there's going to be some people as well that I haven't met. So it's just like, it's really nice. I feel that Europe has this more convivial and community-like experience that I definitely did not ever have in really anywhere, to be honest, that I've ever lived before. Not in Bali, not in Thailand, not in Mexico, not in the United States. I never really felt like I had a group of people. And there have been a few different groups here of friends that have, you know, let me into their particular circles or that were creating groups or whatever the case may be. And again, it's just really nice to be part of something and to, you know, make friends and have things to do with people. And that is, besides, you know, wanting to find a man to marry, it is one of the reasons that I moved here to Europe, is that I wanted to have more of a social life. And so really happy that at least on that front, things are going very well for me. And, you know, in the meantime, I'm really just going to keep developing myself and making, you know, a good life for myself and making friends and working on myself, working on my body, working on my mind, you know, so that I can be the best version of myself to offer a future partner. Like, hopefully when that person comes along, I mean, I hope that they come along even before I'm like a fully fledged, you know, perfect person, because it's always a journey and we never get there. But, you know, I want to be able to like cook us breakfast or, you know, make us lunch sometimes or whatever. As I've said before, when I made my protein pancakes, I would love for someone else also to be able to do these things for me, but I can't just expect that someone is going to come and do everything for me. Like, and I don't mind it. You know, I have so much free time in my life with my business that I would love to be the kind of person that makes like a home, you know, makes a comfortable home and cooks sometimes. I mean, look, not all the time. I really do like going out to eat, but, you know, every once in a while to make a meal or just to like have a nice home, you know, that there's food in the house that's been like freshly prepared with, you know, good, healthy ingredients and things like that. All right, so the red peppers are going in, and we also can put in the lentils, I think, now, and then we will put in our sauce, and that'll be it. We'll have actually made our recipe of, what was this called? Tuna lentil salad. All right, so I actually made way too many lentils, as you can see, because the 500 grams, it turns into an enormous amount after it's been cooked. So I feel like this is too many lentils, excuse me, too many lentils per the rest of the ingredients. So I really should have indeed halved it. I think that we could have just done 250. The recipe did call for 500, but I am calling a bluff on that because it just does not seem to be right. It's too much. And also even for how much sauce, this is a tiny amount of sauce for the enormous amount of lentils that have gone in, that's gone into a recipe. I mean, look at this. This is a big bowl and it's nearly full of our lentil salad. Like, this is food for at least 3 portions. And I mean, that's if you're really stuffing yourself. Frankly, this is going to be, it's quite late already in the afternoon. It's almost like, what time is it? Oh my gosh, it's almost 6. So thing is that I haven't really eaten that much today because I was out last night and then I woke up late and I don't know, I've just been in a weird kind of food mood. However, I'm going to have some of this now because I need to at least try, see how it came out. And the rest I'm going to put in containers, put in the refrigerator, and I think that this should stay for a few days for me to eat after working out or just have for lunch. And I'm looking at it as I'm stirring it, and I'm thinking that it came out really nicely. I'm going to show it to you, how it looks in the bowl, and then I'm going to put it into a serving bowl and show you that as well. All right, so here's how it's looking in the bowl. Can you see that? I hope so. It looks really nice. It smells not bad. I mean, it smells like tuna mostly, but not too strongly. I really don't like the smell of canned tuna. It kind of grosses me out, to be frank. But it's a very cheap and healthy source of protein. And so, regardless, I am eating lots of tuna these days. So I'm actually going to make another modification to this recipe. I am going to add some fresh lemon juice in here because I feel that this will really help the flavor. Again, as I had said, that I was quite surprised with how paltry the amount of sauce was. So I think that some fresh lemon squeezed on here will go pretty far in just adding some freshness to our flavors. And I mean, come on, you can't really go wrong with fresh lemon. I don't think that that's going to take anything away from our taste. So a little bit of creative license. As I said, I also didn't add the garlic, so maybe we need something like the lemon anyway to give a bit more of flavor since we're not doing the garlic. All right, so I've added half squeezed fresh lemon. I'm also gonna cut one more quarter of a lemon to add to my Rosella tea that I make fresh here regularly. Now, my pembantu, meaning my housekeeper in Bali, used to make this for me every day. We always had fresh Rosella. This is something I started drinking in Mexico. They call it agua de Jamaica. And so I do it with fresh rosella leaves, cinnamon, and lemon. Now, when I made this batch fresh earlier today, I had run out of lemons, but since I did my grocery shopping and now I have the lemon, I'm gonna add in a quarter of the lemon, and I'm gonna drink my rosella tea with my lentil tuna salad. All right, well, here is the final result. I just tasted it and I think it's really good. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It was not very difficult. And now I have a great lunch, post-gym lunch, or generally healthy lunch that I can make for myself, make for somebody else. And I'm really happy. So this is yet another step forward towards my new life in Europe of being a self-sufficient, fully fledged adult. How exciting. So thank you guys so much for following along and watching this video. It was a pleasure to share with you. Until the next time, take care, and I'll see you later.